Hi guys. Cedar hasn't pooped in 5 days, so it's just gonna be me today. No, actually. How are we doing this today? You usually do it. Hi guys, thanks for tuning in again. This is Hot and Bothered, where we talk about everything that we find hot as fuck and everything that bothers the shit out of us.
Didn't I just say we were going to do the intro in a separate clip so it's easier for me to edit?
We have really good energy right now. I'm Chris Bruno, and this is my co-host,
Cedar Champ, obviously.
And we are coming to you live from Los Angeles, California, and that's it. She was about to ask for it, so
I think that's what a lot of straight men say before they assault a woman.
She was about to ask for it. Sick.
Okay, well, anyway, let's get into it.
Shall we just jump straight into things?
Let's just fucking get into it.
What should we talk about today?
Politics.
No, that's too heavy.
I want to talk about how I was homophobic until I was 15 years old.
You're still actually fully homophobic. You are the most homophobic person I've ever met in my life.
Exactly.
You're homophobic.
Which is why I'm trying to make you famous off of a podcast.
We're not getting famous off of this.
We're so rich and famous and successful. We're entrepreneurs. We have 1 million Instagram
Thank you guys so much for
followers.
listening tonight.
We're manifesting.
I love you.
We're
Thank
manifesting.
you. Have a good night. Eras Tour 2022. We are the least tech savvy people on earth, and we're sitting here with a MacBook on 5% and 10 wires.
There's so many wires. Also, I ordered multiple things from Amazon, had to take an impromptu trip to fucking Best Buy. The guy at Best Buy had no idea what was going on.
You're like, hi, I'm starting a podcast. He was like, do you need a phone case?
I also have to say my mom did contribute a little bit to the equipment, and I love her for that. But also I feel like when she listens to the things that we talk about, she's going to ask for her money back.
She can't know what we're talking about. I haven't even told my parents about this.
I've told both of my parents, and my father, he will never listen to it.
He's like, what's a podcast?
I will never let that happen. I can't even imagine what that would look like, but my mother might.
She would love it. She's a supporter.
I think she's kind of an ally, honestly.
Slay. What's your mom's name?
Her name is Sherry.
That is so chic.
It's really cute. She's
I'm obsessed
adorable.
with her.
Okay, so here's the thing about my parents, though. They're divorced. I'm a divorced baby, of course. But the thing is I grew up in a town in northern Minnesota with a population of 964 people.
And 65 of them are your first cousins?
My first and second cousins, exactly. The amount of cousins I have, Chris, you
really?
have no idea. It's insane.
So you're inbred?
I am inbred.
Okay, that explains actually everything. Perfect.
Hence the reason why we're here.
Yes.
So here's the thing. So my dad was raised as a farmer. He ended up doing really well for himself. We lived not only in Minnesota, but also Arizona. We lived both places every year, half a year in each place.
Red State slay.
Why are you standing up?
Because I'm going to go get champagne.
Is that a priority at this moment?
Well, we have 2 empty glasses. So you tell me. Okay, so you grew up in Minnesota, and also you were bi-coastal.
I was a bi-coastal, but on a
bi-coastal.
on a Midwest scale. So therefore, I grew up painfully conservative, the most conservative.
Conservative in what way? Like farmer Trump, or Catholic as well?
Oh, all of it. I was raised so Catholic.
Oh my God. So if you blinked, it was a sin. I'm Roman Catholic. Well, I don't identify as that, but I was raised kind of.
If you still identified as that,
Yeah,
I don't think we
maybe
would be friends. I have to admit this on the record, because when our podcast blows up and we're rich and famous, successful podcasters, I don't want anyone coming for me thinking they're going to expose me for this. Up until I was honestly probably 14 years old, maybe 15 even, did not think gay people should have the right to get married.
Okay, so you have to get out of my apartment.
No, it's so insane to think about that person that I was then, and actually, the person I was raised to be. And now I'm recording a podcast with my gay best friend talking about premarital sex and drugs.
And nonsense.
I will give myself a pat on the back. I've come a very long way.
I feel like I've had the way that like my parents taught me things instilled in my head, obviously, as any human should.
Yeah.
But then like as I'm growing up, I'm like forming my own opinions on life. The most random fucking things. Just so fucking random. Like I should use that detergent, but I'm like, that detergent literally is going to cause me cancer. Or
yeah.
I used to think that like just because Joey was my older brother and he's also gay, that everything he said is right and that I need to follow every single thing that he said.
What you're saying is you're not actually gay and you just identify as gay because you're a brother.
I'm going to kill you. No, but just like I used to take everything he said
as Bible. I grew up with 3 older sisters and anything that they said, that was Bible because they were older than me. They knew better than me. And it was obviously the same way with my parents, whereas they told me that sex before marriage is a sin. No, for sure. But like I did the same thing with my brother. Everything he said or everything he did, I would just be like, you're right, I need to follow along with that. I would just go off of, you know, whatever he said and like use that as an example or as like a basis of how I need to like live my life. But you know, now that we're older and that we're comfortable with ourselves and that we can confidently form our own opinions and our own habits and all that, whatever, like I feel like I'm learning different stuff every day about myself. You reach an age where you're like, oh wait, I don't have to use this brand because my parents bought that brand. Like it's like the biggest things, like political beliefs and like religion, but it's also like the weird small things shit. And you're just like, I'm like, why would fuck?
I'm like, I would never use that hand soap. No,
I wouldn't buy that in a million years. Like, why am I buying it just because my parents bought it and it was in the house when I grew up?
I know
it's so bizarre.
I had something else to say and I don't remember what it was, but I had something really good on the tip of my tongue and I got distracted.
I always say like I'm a talker and I like the way that I process things mentally.
I would never have guessed that.
It's insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
Breaking news. So I always say that I'm a talker and that's just how I work through things. That's how I process things. And I remember being 14 or 15 or whatever age it was. And I think Minnesota was voting on whether or not gay marriage should be legal. And I was having a conversation with my sister at the time and I asked her, I was like, how do you feel about this? Like, what do you think about this? She was like, I don't give a fuck. She was like, I don't care if gay people get married. That's not my problem. It's not my business. Why the fuck would I be bothered by that? Okay. And that was like the first time I had ever like heard that perspective. And I was like, oh shit. Like, yeah, you're right. And it's like all it took was somebody saying, why the fuck would I care?
Like it has actually nothing to do with me.
This is literally none of my business what other people do, who they marry, who they love. And that's when it clicked. And obviously it clicked and then I leaned into it because like basically my only friends are gay.
And then I was forced to lean into it because everybody around me is gay.
I overcompensated.
Yeah, you're like, I had to make up for lost time, babe.
Exactly. Like where I grew up, I wasn't around other people who had different beliefs. So even just those different perspectives were never offered to me.
Completely. I mean, I just love that that's just like a very simple case of the world evolving into something a little more sensible.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even need to have a political connotation associated with it, but it's like common sense. Like,
of course.
Like that's just awesome. Should I talk about like me being the only gay person in my high school?
Do you want to talk about that?
I feel like it's relatable.
So you've told me before that like your high school was relatively small. I mean, obviously not as small as mine, but it was small in comparison.
Yeah, like I think by the time I graduated, I think there was like 600 people total in the school. So it was like 100 to 200 people per class.
Right.
Yeah.
And you always knew that you were gay.
You know, I actually didn't know.
Really?
Not that I didn't know. I was just really confused as a child. I think that like I took my love, not that I'm like, oh, I want to like fuck your pussy, but like I find women so beautiful.
I'm like, really glad that you clarified.
Like I have no interest in like literally touching a vagina.
Yeah.
But like
I feel the same way about women.
I find women like they're the most beautiful things in the world. Like a beautiful woman is like, I would rather look at a beautiful woman all day long than the hottest guy in the world.
Absolutely. Like, that's just like a universal understanding.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, like, now I'm attracted to like that in a different way. Like now I'm
Right.
attracted to like that because I'm like, okay, like who is this? I need to be her. Like who, like
Yeah.
what work does she have done? Like what's going on? Like tell me all about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I just feel like growing up, you know, not really having any exposure to homosexuality. Yeah, but like as a kid, like I felt like I was attracted to both, and I didn't
Right.
really know like what was going on. And I also, as I got older, like in high school or whatever, I again had like no exposure to any gay people. Obviously, me and my brother were like both at the time closeted. I don't know his story or what he was thinking, but for me, I was like genuinely confused. I was like, obviously, like, yeah, a part of me does find guys attractive, but I also didn't feel comfortable like identifying as gay, like without having been with a man and knowing that like I liked it.
Yeah, like you needed actual confirmation.
I needed confirmation for sure. So what were we talking about? What is the story? What is the point of the story? We're having a political conversation and like me coming out. And like
I think it's actually like a really
we
good
need to talk
progression
about
of the
people wiping
conversation.
their ass. Actually, I'm so ADD that I forgot the point of this conversation. I'm happy to continue, but I need to know what direction I'm going in.
We were just talking about it was challenging, like being one of the only gay people in your high school.
I feel like I was confused up until like I left high school. I graduated high school or whatever, and I, you know, started experimenting in college. And I was like, okay, obviously I like dick. So we went that route and we committed to it, and here we are.
So it wasn't until college when you finally were like, okay, this
Yeah, I
is who
think
I
I was
am.
like 18 when I told my parents.
Yeah.
Or 19 or whatever, but
When you were in high school, did you like have girlfriends and stuff?
no, no. I mean, all my friends were girls, if that's
Right.
what you're asking. But no, I never like had a girlfriend. I mean, I think maybe I'm not recollecting it.
Accurately. I think you're trying to block it out.
I'm like, I was a faggot. I was a cheerleader. Just kidding. I don't know. Maybe towards high school is when I realized like, okay, I identify like more with the girls than the
Yeah.
guys. So that should mean something.
yeah.
Maybe I did know. I don't remember because I honestly blocked that whole fucking part of my life out.
Understandably so.
I was so ugly, like horrible. Like
God,
I
me too,
literally
me too.
like I can't even talk about it. I had an afro, mushroom afro. Morbidly
I was
obese.
fat and had a bad nose. So
I had like braces for 50 years.
I had braces and then I had Invisalign.
I had braces twice.
I'm sorry for that.
My teeth are nice.
You do have good teeth.
Are you hot or are you bothered today? We need to get fired. Are you hot or are you bothered?
Do you want to ask me again?
What? If you're hot or you're bothered?
Yeah.
Today I went somewhere for work. Should I just come out and tell people I have a job?
This is Chris's coming out.
This is my coming out story.
We talked about this in We're Not Climaxing, where you're actually kind of a fucking girl boss.
I wouldn't take it that far, and I also don't want to identify as a girl boss because
I love that for you. It's so funny and ironic and
I
like
don't,
just
like,
good.
I don't have an Audi Q3 and a Goyard bag. Like I'm not that girl. Like I'm not a girl boss. You know what I mean? I'm like
You're permanently branded as a girl boss. I don't know what to tell
I
you.
don't like that. I
What
don't
would
like
you?
that.
What do you
I
want
don't
to be?
take that much pride in my work though to be a girl boss.
I didn't either, and that's why I literally don't have a job.
Don't take that much pride. I'm not like have a hard on. Like I'm like, bitch, if I didn't respond to your email, I don't give a fuck. Like I'm like, I don't care. I am a girl boss though. Just kidding.
You being like literally bipolar. So, what was the point of that? Tell the people what you do.
I don't think we're there yet. We'll do that later.
I thought you said you wanted to come out.
I have cold feet.
This entire episode is all about Chris's coming out.
Okay, so I'm technically a real estate agent, but I specialize in luxury short-term rentals.
So hot.
So basically, I manage a bunch of properties all around LA, Beverly Hills, and that's what I do. And
Hashtag girl boss.
yeah, but it's a lot. It's a lot.
No, you work really hard,
I
but
do.
you get to see a lot of cool shit. You get to spend time in a lot of really cool homes.
Yeah, we
and
have really cool clients.
Meet really cool
it's-
people, exactly.
There's a lot of different avenues of what I do. Like sometimes I'm furnishing a house. Sometimes I'm like plunging a toilet. I literally did all of this today. I was like unplunging a toilet. Then I went to another house, was like decorating it. There's a lot of things that I do. It's crazy. There's definitely a niche for that in LA because the level and stature of properties that people rent in LA is like not really comparable to any other part of the world.
It's so insane.
It is.
One of the men that was part of my roster, I don't know if I can say that he still is. He's a realtor, like a pretty successful LA realtor, actually disgustingly successful. You know all about him, obviously.
Love him. I'm going to work for him.
He is going on a trip.
He's going to work for me.
He's going to edit our podcast
going on a
for
trip,
us.
So we're staying at his house.
He's going on a trip to Miami. He's going to be gone for 8 days. And he's talking about the house that he's renting while he's in Miami. And I made a comment to him about, well, will they allow XYZ? And he said...
You're like, will they allow coke, whores, and strippers?
That's what XYZ stands for. And he was like, well, I fucking hope that they do because I dropped $10K on this house.
That's not a lot for a week.
It's not a lot, except for the fact that with my salary, which doesn't exist, that's so insanely ridiculous to me.
I'm so numb to that.
No, I know. And that's what's fucking disgusting because that's what Los Angeles does to you. It's like,
I don't know. I'm like, some of these transplants have such a hard on and like romanticize LA so hard. We're obviously transplants.
At least you grew up in California. You have
for
that
sure,
going
but
for you.
I've never been like, oh my God, I'm going to go to LA and like be famous. Here I am like recording a podcast.
Being famous via podcast.
Literally. No, but I've never been. I'm like, okay, where I grew up, what am I going to do there? Like go to the beach and go smoke weed and like work for my dad? No.
Yeah.
If I'm not going to LA, where else would I go in California? Like I wasn't going to go to San Francisco. So I identify like LA as home. I mean, I've been here for almost 8 years.
So
like,
insane.
This is really funny, actually, and I don't know if I should say this, but I'm going to say it. I had a friend who was like, if you live in LA and like you're not doing something like in Hollywood or like blah blah, like you're not a singer, you're not a dancer, you're not an actor, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, you're not trying to be famous, why are you even here? Like, what are you even doing? And I was like, do you fucking hear what you're saying?
Can a bitch just live?
Hold on. I was like, do you hear what you're saying? I was like, do you know there's like people that, one, are from here, two, there's like hospitals here, there's grocery stores here, there are
gas stations,
there's gas stations,
libraries,
there's like a chiropractor, there's literally a bunch of fucking things that need human beings to operate them. I was like, I know people that live in LA that are like work in finance that make more money than any like person with 2 million followers that I know that live in LA and no one knows who I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
mental. It's like
such a turnoff. I was like, we don't need to like romanticize LA as like some Hollywood place. Like, I mean, I love that it is a hub for people who want to express that creativity and do that. But at the end of the day, like there's a fucking pavilions that I need a cashier. Like have my job. I need to like do what I fucking do.
The phrase, it takes all kinds, enters my mind often. In order to have a functioning society, it takes all kinds. Like, we can't all be fucking billionaires.
No. I don't know. I get really, really turned off by people who just think like LA is the greatest place in the world. I'm like, you're most likely like uncultured.
Yeah.
And are closed-minded.
Yeah.
Hollywood, baby, it's not like glitz and glam, baby. You go down there and there is someone in a tin can suit. Who's calling you?
Nobody.
There's someone in a tin can suit pissing on you at a red light.
Mm-hmm.
Like
lighting the palm trees on fire.
Literally like robbing Foot Locker. Like I don't even know what's going on in this shithole city anymore. Okay, my computer is about to die.
Plug it in. What's happening?
Okay, we're back on the air. Your bangs look really cute today.
I feel like Barbie.
It looks so good.
Thank you.
We should keep that in there. That was a cute little moment.
It was really cute. I have, I think, a good answer to the question when you ask me.
You're feeling hot today, I can tell.
I'm not.
Why are you bothered?
Ask the question. Be
Hi,
formal.
Cedar. How are you tonight, sweetie? How are you feeling? Are you hot today or are you bothered?
Be fucking for real.
Are you fucking hot or are you bothered? I need to fucking know.
Okay, so actually, I'm a little bothered and...
Shocking.
I'm always bothered. Are we sensing a trend here?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bothered because actually, I've had 2 experiences today that have reminded me of the first Raya date that I went on when I moved to Los Angeles. And I'm bothered because of that. Here's the story. I had been living in New York, and just before I moved to Los Angeles, I had been on a string of really bad dates. My last 3 or 4 dates in New York were treacherous. One guy cried in front of me,
Are you kidding me?
really bad shit. And before that, I dated a lot in New York and had a lot of really successful and really good dates.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just hit this wall where I was just having bad date after bad date. And so I was like, I think what needs to happen is I need to just take a pause from dating. Something is wrong. The energy is off. I need to take a break from this and just step away. So during my little sabbatical, I decided to move to LA. I finally get to LA, which my move here was horrible. It was the worst experience of my life. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. So in hindsight, maybe it wasn't the dates that I went on. Maybe it was just me. I think I was having a bad luck streak or something. But anyway, basically, just after I moved to LA, I got onto Raya, which before I hadn't because I didn't know anyone who was on it. And so I moved to LA, I'm on Raya, and I'm like, okay, maybe this is my opportunity. Maybe I finally found my people. Maybe this is where I find the men that I'm meant to date. I was so naive. Poor little Cedar. So I matched with this guy who's pretty cute, and I also was just feeling ready. I felt like I needed to go on a date.
How long were you here for?
I had only been here for a month or 2 at this point. So I go on this date. I meet up with this guy. He takes me to this shitty bar. There's
What bar?
I don't know. There was one other person in there. The lights weren't even dim. The lights were on. It was really scary. And I sat down, and basically the first conversation that we end up having is about how he felt less women would be sexually assaulted if they learned how to express to men when they're uninterested.
And you were like, okay, bye.
I was like, I will never, ever, ever, ever let this man touch me.
That's disgusting.
Disgusting. But I was there, and this was my first date, and I had put on makeup and I had done my hair, and I was like,
I'm gonna write it out because
maybe at the very least this guy and I can be friends.
And you'll get a free drink out of it.
Exactly. So I carry on with the date. We end up finding common ground in other places, but ultimately that conversation was obviously
I grew up super conservative. He's like, baby, I still am conservative.
He's like, I'll meet you there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
He's like, let's go back, I'll take you.
Yeah. And no, sorry, I don't backtrack. So the date goes on. Obviously, that's not something I'm compromising on. No.
Meanwhile, there's overhead light on your face.
Exactly. The most horrifying lighting. It was not a good time. So we end up having 2 rounds. I tried to pay for the second round. He would not let me.
He didn't have an open tab.
Well, we actually switched bars, and the second place we went to was equally as awful. It was actually really bad. And
I need to know where you were.
It was technically Santa Monica, but it was not. It was Sawtelle.
Oh my God.
You just threw up.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Where were you? Baja Blast? What's that place called?
I don't know. He grew up in California and has lived in LA for a while. And so the fact that he didn't have a better recommendation of a place to go to is embarrassing for him.
How old is he?
Old enough. I don't know. I date old guys. So he's probably in his mid to late 30s. So the date goes on. I attempted to pay for the second round of drinks and he didn't let me. And then we go to part ways, and I was going out of town the next morning. Mm-hmm. And I'd driven myself there, and he had walked or Ubered or something. And so when it came time to leave, I offered to give him a ride home. He let me. His apartment complex was not impressive, but I didn't go inside, obviously. I just dropped him off because I was like, I'm not touching this man.
You drove and dropped him off?
I literally dropped him off at home at the end of the date.
You have a dick.
I have a dick. I always say I'm a better boyfriend than any of my boyfriends have ever been.
Mm-hmm.
So then the next day I travel. I get a text from him and he was like, safe travels. It was so great meeting you. Let me know when you're back to town. Let's get together. And I was like, no. I obviously didn't text him back.
You like appreciate the gesture, but it's not actually going to happen ever again, baby.
Exactly. For obvious reasons, I will say. So I never text him back. I do my travels. I come home. A week later, I'm sitting.
A week later.
A week later.
Okay.
A full week later. I'm sitting on my cousin's couch. It is 11:30 p.m. on a Friday night, watching a movie with her. I get a notification on my phone.
Okay.
This man, who I've not spoken to since our date, I didn't text him back, sends me an Apple Pay request for $20.
Oh, no.
With no context whatsoever. There was not a message or a note or anything of that sort.
What the fuck?
I know. And I'm like, the only thing that makes sense is that he's requesting me for the 2 beers that I drank. And I'm like, is this really what the dating scene looks like in Los Angeles?
So this is like your first date in LA?
My first dating app date in LA. And it put a bad fucking taste in my mouth, let me tell you. Like, that was not cute. That was not cute. To wrap that up, I'd never texted him back. I obviously didn't send him $20 because fuck you. Like, I offered to pay for the second round because I knew I never wanted to see him again. I was just like so caught off guard and just like in shock.
So disgusting.
Instead of fulfilling the request for $20, I contemplated sending him $40 and being like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't know you were so hard up for cash.
Yeah.
Like, I got it.
I mean, obviously he was just trying to make a point
with
it because I'm sure I would hope that the $20 isn't making or breaking his week or month or whatever. But
I would hope. Well, obviously he can afford his Raya subscription. So if he can't afford 2 beers of mine, then like get fucked and get off of Raya. I don't know.
That's so disgusting. I don't really know how to react to that.
Yeah, there's nothing to be said about it. I never responded to him. He actually came up as a suggestion on my Raya the other day and I blocked him. So I was like, never again. I will not go back there.
I would have like messaged him and been like, played dumb.
I told you I had a conversation earlier with another friend and she was like, you should literally go back and fulfill the request now. A year later.
Wait,
over a year later. Probably, yeah.
Wait, do it. Let's do it.
I don't have a job. $20 is important to me right now.
I will Venmo you $20 right now if you do it. I will Venmo you $40 right now if you do it.
Should I?
I swear to God, I will Venmo you $40 right now. Do you even have those messages with him still?
Yeah, I don't delete messages ever because I've been gaslit into oblivion. And so I like to keep receipts. I don't either,
but I literally before I got this phone, I had messages on my phone from 2018.
I love that. I love a girl with receipts.
Messages from 2018, and now I did the thing where I put my messages so they delete after a year.
That just could never be me. I have a really old computer, as you know. I turned it on after a few years of not using it, and I found messages from my ex-boyfriend from 2016. Him calling me a cunt. There's literally a message and I have it saved on my desktop and he said, so what? I slept with your sister. How the fuck is that shitty towards you?
You've never told me the story about that.
I'll tell you someday. And I'll tell the world someday, but today's not the day.
Oh my God.
We've
covered a lot of ground today, Chris, already, but I need to know what
that is. Why I do not delete messages. Like, those are things that I will hold on to.
I don't have that much drama in my life.
Forever. I actually really wanted to ask you something.
I'm not bothered today if that's where you're fucking going because you're not sly.
Are you hot?
I'm always hot. I don't want to be bothered. I don't like that energy of being bothered.
Are you trying to make me feel bad?
No, I'm gaslighting you.
Literally. I'm glad we have it literally recorded.
I don't think I will ever.
There are receipts being recorded.
I don't think that I will ever say that I'm bothered. What is going to bother me? I'm hot today. Honestly, you know why I'm hot today? Because today went by so fucking fast.
Today was
Today went by
a good day.
Today, the receipts in my phone from you would prove otherwise. But
no, I was a peach. Except for I did have a little psychosis moment and I had some body dysmorphia depression and whatever. But like all of that is like a thing of the past, baby. Like I'm a brand new person.
Half a bottle of champagne down. You're like, honey.
Half a bottle and 10 milligrams of Ritalin, need I mention. Mexican Ritalin as well. So
I'm hot today, and I'm hot today because today was a great day. It went by fast, and I had a good workout. I had a great day, and here I am. What do I have to complain about besides all of my problems that I make up in my head?
I don't know, but I will say it would make better like podcast content if you had something
bothered.
to complain about, or if you had something to be really hot about.
I feel like the things that I complain about are so neurotic, though.
Was there something that turned you on today then?
Turned me on?
Yeah, like something hot that happened.
Yeah,
like,
I was texting the politician today, and I took a really good picture of myself. That's
something you can be hot about,
well,
and then
you have to drag it out of me.
Why? I answered the question very seamlessly.
Think about that. I don't think about that. I think of like the bigger picture. But like, if
you're not thinking about the bigger picture.
What turned you on today? I'm like, okay, the politician was like, we were having a fun conversation. I love the politician. I love him. I'm like, he's
Are you
sweet.
about to get into a relationship?
No, because I don't know what it looks like, and I don't think it's big. Not big. I think it's a micro penis.
Really?
I don't know.
We've said that about every man that we've interacted with in the past like month.
I touched it like in a sweatpant, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" It's like a baby hook. Anyway,
I'm scared of
I
that.
don't even want to know. I just love talking to him. He's a sweetie. But
so you're
he's really hot.
Once again, just like last episode, hot because of the politician.
I'm hot because of the politician.
This is getting scary.
Like, have felt morbidly obese lately.
For context,
I have been
as if the people who aren't listening to this don't know what we look like. Chris and I are both really fucking hot.
No, we're not. You are really hot.
We're both.
I have things that I need to work on.
His body dysmorphia just channeling through podcast. So once again, you are hot today, and it is because of the politician.
I'm just bored. And I like the company. I don't know what else there is to it.
Are you still like meeting other people and like seeing other people?
What the fuck, Cedar? I've literally hung out with him for a grand total of 2 hours maximum. Obviously, and also
and you're like,
other people.
Love him.
There's no one. I know. There's no one to meet. I don't need to meet people. I don't have time to meet people.
Yes, you do, because you met
We are
him.
in a relationship. Yesterday,
me
and Cedar were making dinner, and she was like, "Are we ever gonna get into a fight?"
I'm over at Chris's apartment. We're cooking dinner together. I came over.
This was a legitimate thought that I had.
I came over with a bag of groceries. We went to a workout class together. Also went grocery shopping together. Came home. Are cooking dinner together.
You need to leave. No, I'm so excited for your vacation.
I'm packing. I'm packing up. I'm going home. We're cooking dinner together, and I asked him, like, do you think that there will ever be a reason for us to like fight or have a falling out? And what was your response to that?
Well, actually, before you said that, we joked like 10 times that we're
a married couple.
Yeah. But I don't remember the exact response, but I did tell you that I was like, me and Cedar are in a relationship. And I was like, I'm in another relationship. And I was like, I don't want to be in a relationship. But I'm literally in a platonic relationship with Cedar. We are exclusively dating one another. We are with each other every afternoon. We're texting all day long. And
we do. It's so embarrassing. He had a full-fledged like panic attack about it.
I wouldn't call it a panic attack, but I had a realization because I was like, I've been really focused on trying to find myself and be alone. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I don't need to like be alone to like find myself.
Yeah.
You're like the biggest supporter of like my neurosis and psychosis. And like, I don't know.
But I'm like my answer to that, I have to throw this in here. It's so funny because you mentioned how we like text all day, every day.
We don't though.
We do. A couple of weeks ago, I was walking down the street and you and I were texting, and there was like a crackhead on the street, and he looked at me and he was like, wow, like like that man's really got you smiling or something like that.
Like,
and he thought I was like,
you're like that man.
Whatever he said, he was like implying that I was like texting like a guy that I was romantically interested. It was just you. It was literally
Jesus
just you.
Christ.
I know. No, but my thing is, and like what I said to you last night when you admitted to me that you like had a moment of anxiety about entering another relationship.
I told you though, I was like, I have, and I'm going to get hate for this. I'm just like, I am negatively associate myself with relationships.
Yeah, I do too. But when it comes to friendships, my thing is like, I had a really good epiphany about this morning too, actually. My thing about friendships is that I've always, always, always kept my circle so small. And I think because of like the conditions in which I grew up, where like my life wasn't very stable. And I just had my sisters, like they were my best friends, and I didn't know any better. And so like I've always kept my circle really small, and I've always been incredibly picky about the friends that I keep. And so like when I find one or two like solid friends, you're fucked, dude. When I find like one or two solid friends that are like good friends, I just hang on to them. And like, why would I like hang out with other people that are like half-ass friends when like I don't need that? So for me, it's like, yeah, of course we're spending a lot of time together. We're best friends, and it's convenient that we're both like newly single and stuff. But then I was also thinking this morning in context of Spit in My Mouth Man, why is he
entering episode 2?
You're mad that I'm carrying him along?
God damn it.
I was thinking about like these types of relationships can be like fun to me, but I think that there is part of me that like maybe hopes that like things will work out
with Spit in My Mouth
in general, like with these like relationships that like they're toxic but like in a fun way, like it's kind of like a sport. And I'm like, but why am I even entertaining those things? And I think it's because like I almost try to approach romantic relationships in the way that I approach friendships, where it's like when I find somebody that like is fun and I enjoy being around, I'm like, I have to latch onto them and keep them in my bank because this is like a good one.
So you are saying me and Spit in My Mouth Man are in the same category?
No. Can
you clarify for everyone?
First of all, I'm drunk. Second of all, this was a fleeting thought this morning, so it's not fully formed or developed. It's not like I didn't carry it to term. I didn't birth it, so I can't fully elaborate on it. But like, I do think that part of the reason why I like try to make romantic relationships a consistent thing in my life is because I know well enough that like when I find good people that I get along with, like I want to keep them.
So basically you're telling me that you love me.
That's exactly what I'm telling you. Okay, you want to know what I'm perplexed by? Chris and I are using like a new recording situation.
Is this 19 minutes? How fucking long is this?
That's what I was just about to say.
This is not 20 minutes long.
Can you let me finish a thought before you open your fucking mouth? I
am a man. I don't know if I'm hot or if I'm bothered today. Definitely next time I'm going to come in bothered.
I'm actually going away to the wilderness for 10 days.
Cedar's going to Canada.
I'm going to Canada. I won't even have cell reception for like days.
What am I going to do? You're going to be dead. I'm going to be literally hitting my head against a wall. There's so much that I have to like do in the next 10 days that I'm like, how am I going to like survive that without having you be accessible?
I'm going to get back into cell reception after being away for 4 days and have like 872 messages, and they're all going to be from Chris.
You? Like I'm like texting you like you are still alive on Earth.
Because you don't pay attention to my responses anyway.
I don't, because I don't know what's real and what's not. Do you know how many things I'm going to do in the next 10 days? I have 2 weddings to attend. I'm going to be in like 5 different states.
I can't think about you having a life without me.
I can't think about my ankles.
Do you have cankles?
I do.
In case we didn't mention this already, Chris has body dysmorphia.
I do have cankles. Okay, I have to go have cocktails. Okay, guys, so thank you so much for listening today. Unfortunately, me and Cedar have to exit to go binge drink at Tower Bar and celebrate the fact that she doesn't have chlamydia anymore. So if you would like to follow our Instagram, it's called Hot and Bothered the Pod. Slay.
And then I think we're also Hot and Bothered the Pod on TikTok. There's no post there, so don't worry about that yet.
On Twitter, on Instagram, on eBay. Where else?
Find us on Farmers Only at Hot and Bothered the
you.
Pod. I hope everybody has a really hot week and not a bothered week. But if you are bothered,
be bothered and embrace it.
Yeah.
And just manifest.
I thought you said be bothered and abrasive, and I like that anyway. Oh. That's me.
Be abrasive.
In a nutshell, that's me.
Okay. Bye, guys. I love you so much. I'm inebriated at this point. Okay. Love you. Thank you.
Okay. Everybody have a great week. Bye.